All right, this right here, this is the Anycubic Kobra S1 Max. It's a big name, I get it, all right? And we've talked about it. I just did a video on the other channel walking it through all the specs and everything and showing how it prints and talking about it and stuff. But here I want to talk about, who is this for? Should you buy it? Should you get it for your print farm, your print ranch? And, you know, basically, is it worthy to look at? I mean, Anycubic, let's be honest, Anycubics, they've had some issues in the past, all right? But I'll be honest, if there's anybody out there really trying, I feel it's them. If you saw the Kobra, Kobra X, that's a phenomenal little machine. Is it a clone of the A1? Sure, they're definitely going for that A1 kind of market, but they did something novel with it. They're giving you AMS style printing, four color multicolor, without needing an AMS style unit. That's revolutionary, and it actually delivers. It does what it's supposed to do. The question is, does this? And here's what I'm going to tell you about it. I will say this, and you should go watch the other video because this is going to give you the full walkthrough and all that kind of stuff. But the takeaway is, overall, I mean, this is a pre-production unit, and Anycubic did send it to me. In fact, they sponsored the other video. They're not sponsoring this one. And it is, I think it's an awesome machine. I'm actually truly excited about it because of what it offers to the 3D printing community. That said, I wouldn't buy one. And here's what I'm going to tell you why I wouldn't buy one. I'm not the target market for this. All right. I run a print ranch, and and this is going to sound, I hate saying it like this, but I'm well funded. All right. I've got money to spend to invest in my business. If I were the younger me who was not well funded, you know, come on, we've all been there, or at least most of us have. It gets you everything you're going to get out of an H2S at half the price. It's fully enclosed. Okay. It's got their own AMS style unit. Check. This does heating. Yes. It can heat while printing, if I'm not mistaken. It's got that. It's got a beautiful color display. Up here, let me see if I can reach it. There. Beautiful color display. It's gorgeous. The lighting inside is amazing. It's cathedral-like, if you would. In fact, it's bigger than the H2S. Not a lot, but I mean, hey, give them the points. It's bigger, all right? Physically, it's almost the exact same size. But the inside print volume, 350 by 350 by 350, it's bigger. They get the point there, all right? It's got a heated chamber. It's got a high temp, print head. It's got a good temp heated bed. I did ABS on it first try, flawless. All right. It does everything it does really well. Okay. There are some issues with it. And if you see my other video, I will talk about those issues. But as far as I'm concerned, every issue I saw, sorry for the clicking, it's the arms on this chair. Every issue I saw with this was software based. And this is a pre-production unit. Okay, there was one hardware. The filter to the back, that's kind of hard. I'm not particularly concerned about this. I run a whole air, handling system, so I'm not worried about the filter in it. Maybe you are. I've seen lots of people for the older Kobra S1 print new air filter holders so they can put their own carbon filter units in there. And I would probably do the same thing with this. Either that or pipe the air outside or get an air handling system like I use. And I've got a video on that. You can go check that out. But everything else with it, like you can actually, this allows you to heat the filaments, but you could have PLA and say PET in there, and it's going to heat up hot enough for the PET, which will turn the PLA into slag. Okay. And the Bambu will stop you from doing it. It'll be like, hold up. Sure you want to do that? And most other systems will too. And they got back to me immediately. They're like, we're working on it. It's going to be in an update. In fact, almost everything I mentioned was, yes, we know it's going to be in an update, including the issue I had with the air filter in there. That, yes, we know that's a pre-production unit. The production units will have better hardware than that. I love to see them addressing it. And as far as like print quality and everything else, I think it was fantastic. I thought it was really good. Were there some issues? Yes. But again, stuff that they're going to fix in post, as it were. Now, the question I had and what prompted this video was people asking me, would you buy this for a print farm? And I said, for me personally, no, I wouldn't, because I went with Bambu Lab for a very specific reason. It is, it's a well-established company. All the printers that are out are fairly established. Most of my print farm runs on P1Ss, and my large scale ones, the H series now has been out for, is it almost a year at this point? So there's a user base out there. I have the regular support. There's a huge user base of users, so that's my secondary support. I have access to parts. I have filament that's pre-tuned to work it in the AMS and through the system. It's the whole ecosystem of Bambu that makes it, it's reliable in the whole 9 years, that makes it appealing to me. Now, getting parts for this, I don't know. Long-term support, I don't know. How can I recommend this? Well, it's half the price. At half the price, again, like if it was me right now starting a print ranch like I did, no, I'm not buying it. If it was 20-year-old me trying to break the cycle of, working, the wage slave cycle and establishing a business for myself and investing in myself and bootstrapping it myself and trying to make every dollar count, I would totally buy this in a heartbeat. Now, some people are like, well, what about the Snapmaker? Here's what I'm gonna say about the Snapmaker. I've got the Snapmaker. It's actually sitting right behind this camera. And I've got the Snapmaker we're going to do a video on. I've got another one over there that I can't tell you about. And I can't tell you why I can't tell you about. But it's big. Anyway, the Snapmaker, if you're doing just PLA, I think it's great. If you're doing PETG and you don't have environmental concerns, like for me up here in Montana, I'm looking over at my hydrometer, hygrometer, whatever they pronounce it. It's sitting at 10, just out in the air. It's really dry here. And so I don't have to really worry about that if I'm running PLA or PETG. But if I'm running ABS out of my farm, ASA, PET, any of the higher end engineering filaments, the Snapmaker's a no-go. All right. The other issue for me with the Snapmaker is the width, because the filament goes on the outside. Whereas with this, the filament goes on top. I have more vertical space than I have horizontal space. Okay. Actually, that's not true. I have more horizontal, but I've used up all the horizontal space. I've used a ton of it. So for me, I prefer to have my filament sitting up on top, because then I can put more machines on a shelf. That's not an option with the Snapmaker. Or maybe you could 3D print something and come up with some sort of weird solution. But the Snapmaker, you got to remember, despite what your friendly electrician will tell you, not every tool is a hammer. So it's the right tool for the right job. This isn't the same tool you would use for what you'd use a Snapmaker for. If you're doing PLA, maybe PETG, and you're doing like tons of the Flexi Dragons with all the colors everywhere, that kind of stuff, and filament waste is a big issue for you, then by all means, go with the Snapmaker. At $1,000, it's only a little bit more than this. I think this thing's $850. I'll put a link to this down below, and then also there's a discount code. It'll save you like $15, but hey, lunch on me, right? But if you're doing something that doesn't require color changes or only requires 2 color changes, which is what I do. My products have a base color, and then, for labeling, they have a secondary color. And which means they start at one color, they print the body of the unit, and then they do the labeling back again at the first color. So there's only 2 color changes. So my waste is negligent. And I put 2 filaments in black and then 2 filaments in blue, or 2 filaments in black and then 2 filaments in red, which allows me to get benefit from the carryover. Once one spool runs out, it goes to the next one. I relive the first one, that one runs out, it goes back to that one. And you can do that with this. It's good for that, all right? If you're in a very humid environment, somebody from Tennessee emailed me, said, hey, should I go with this or this? I'm like, what's your humidity like? He's like, dude, it's like you're in the shower all day long. I'm like, you want one of these, okay? PLA can handle most of it, but even with PETG at that point, you're going to want something that's enclosed, or you're going to be drying your filament constantly, which is not great for your filament. So who is this for? This is for, on the professional side, only for people who are doing bootstrap startups. okay? That's who I would recommend this for. If you're well established and you got the funds, you're going to go Bambu. Maybe you'll go Prusa or some other big name, but it's not worth rolling the bones on it. If you just you buy one of these, you could buy one of these and make enough money with it to buy an H2S. And then you run these two and you buy your second H2S. And then you keep replicating that until this just becomes your secondary or third, or your miscellaneous printing machine. It does your prototyping, or you sell it and, invest it back into the business. Who else is this for? Oh, the home gamer, dude. For the person who's just doing this for fun. Cosplay. I don't know if you got to check out the other video. I did an egg in this thing, for an Easter egg for a friend. It was humongous. It is. You can do helmets of all shapes and sizes, all your pieces. This is like cosplay gold right here in the size. The Snapmaker's nice, but you're not doing large format in the Snapmaker, okay? If you are looking for basically, who's this for? Okay, we cover the professional, but for everyone else, if you've been wanting the H2S but can't justify $1,500 or $1,600, whatever the price is, this is a great option. From everything I've seen from Anycubic, I feel like they've really turned a corner. Creality seems to be not listening to anybody and just keeps shovelwaring out products. I don't get what Creality's. I feel like they're asleep at the wheel, kind of. And Flashforge, they're coming out with a multi-head one that's just a clone of the Snapmaker. So why wouldn't I get the Snapmaker? Besides the fact, if you've heard the stuff, what Flashforge did and what it pissed off the rest of the community. So good luck getting community support, because nobody wants to buy them anymore. Elegoo, and a lot of people are going to be like, how can you like this when you didn't like what Elegoo did with the Centauri Carbon 2? And the reality is very simple. The Centauri Carbon 2 didn't know what it wanted it to be, and it nailed it. This knew what it wanted to be and nailed it exactly. It stuck the landing, all right? Case in point, Centauri Carbon 2. It's got high heat bed. It's got a high temp, nozzle. So you're like, great, engineering material. And then it stores the filament out in the environment. Might as well leave it in the driveway. That's absolutely ridiculous. It makes no sense. All right, and it does it's basically the same platform as the old Flashforge, where it takes it up, loops it up over the top, and it's got this giant Tupperware hood on it. I don't have a problem with that, but again, now my filament's on the side, not on top, which for the home gamer, fine. For me, I've got 12, 13, 14, 15, 16 machines right now. I don't have space. I can't play around like that. All right. So I feel like Elegoo tried to do something, and they didn't know what their target market was. So they just kind of made it whatever. Probably trying to do it for as cheaply as possible, which is fine. But there's a lot of other less expensive machines out there that I would go. I'd get the Kobra. At that point, I'd get the Kobra X in a heartbeat. Sub $300, 4-color, multicolor. Plus, you can add 4 AMS style units on it to expand it up to 16. That's a lot of uses for a starter machine. That's a lot of uses. If you want large format, tell me somebody else who's doing this size at this price range with these features. I mean, we can talk Cheetah. I don't know how much the large Cheetah box is. I had the Q2, which I thought was great, but again, unpolished. But hopefully they were going to fix it and stuff. This, I think, for me, as a pre-production unit, which is just like the Cheetah sent me, I would prefer to work with this machine. This machine was dead simple to work with and set up. It's got some features. Watch the other video. I'll put the other video link below, and I'll put a link to where you can buy it down there also. And I appreciate it. If you do decide to buy it, if you use my link, we get the affiliate commission on it, and that's how we pay for this channel and stuff like that. So I appreciate the support. If you got any questions, put it down in the comment. I try to read every single question and respond to them. So, if you're curious about this, that, or the other thing, or something I didn't cover or isn't covered in the other video, let me know. And if you like what we do here, go ahead and chomp the old like button, smash that subscribe, ring the bell on the way out. You all take care. God bless. And as always, shine on.